From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Kent's Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Meteorologist Mike Krueger. Thank you so much for joining me here this evening. We got sunny and warm conditions here, especially for the valley here through the middle of the week. We'll be looking at off and on breezy conditions here, especially for the valley with those north winds and even for parts of the coast. Now, by around Thursday, toward the end of the week, we do start to see a drop in our temperatures here, and it looks like more of a cool and unsettled pattern here, making its way into the mountains by sometime around midweek. And I say that because we are going to see a chance for some areas, even tomorrow, looking at a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms Wednesday, and then I think overall a better chance Thursday. And then speaking of all that, we're talking about mainly in the mountains, by Friday into the weekend, even the valley could see some activity as well. We'll get into all that a little bit later, but first here's a look at your Krueger's Quickcast. This is for your Monday, April 21st. And tonight, it's going to cool off probably somewhere in the low 50s for most of us in the valley. Quite chilly in the mountains to the north and east, generally in the low to mid 30s, even for Trinity County. We've got mid 40s for the inland areas and probably somewhere in the low to mid 40s for the coast. Now, out the door tomorrow morning, it's going to be mainly clear out there for most of us. There will be some of that patchy fog for parts of us along the coast. Mostly sunny skies for the eastern mountains, but again, fairly cool in the early morning hours. About 8 o'clock, we're going to start to warm those temperatures up a bit. We've been looking at this ridge of high pressure over the western Pacific, but you can kind of start to see already a little bit of a dip in the jet stream right here, so known as a trough. This is what's going to help to impact us and kind of break away at that ridge a little bit here over the next couple of days, and that's when we do start to see the chances for showers begin to increase for some of the higher elevations, but not everyone, right? So let's take a look at tomorrow. Of course, we take it tonight into tomorrow. We still have that fog around Humboldt Bay making its way down into Highway 101. That's at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. But otherwise, clear skies for everybody. By noon, it's even clear here for Humboldt Bay. And then, of course, that fog will most likely return by Tuesday evening, Tuesday night. But we begin to see through the afternoon tomorrow a chance for some isolated showers, especially for northern, maybe even eastern parts of Shasta County. Eastern Siskiyou County, off towards Modoc County, maybe a chance for a light shower, and even into northeastern Lassen County. And then it does begin to kind of pick up a little bit more intensity overnight tonight and into overnight Tuesday night, that is. Overnight Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning, especially out towards Modoc County. There you can see some of that fog along the coast. So the winds. Let's talk about those winds because they will be breezy off and on here. Now, the strongest I do expect to be mainly along the coast here, but really not that bad tomorrow morning, but still a bit breezy, especially for the north and west side of the valley tomorrow morning. By midday, stronger winds for the coast, 20 to 30 miles per hour. They do start to die down here for the valley, and then even as we go into the evening hours on Tuesday, a little breezy, but more coming in from the south at that point, and looks like some west winds off in the eastern mountains. Once again, 20 to even over 30 miles per hour for parts of the north coast for Tuesday afternoon. So yeah, we've got those winds picking up in some areas. Now for tomorrow, it's going to be more of the same for the valley. Temperatures in the low 80s, and it looks like in the 60s and 70s for the higher elevations, and somewhere in the upper 50s to low 60s for the coast. So a look at your 7-day forecast. We've got basically, of course, those off and on breezy conditions, keeping in the low 80s through Wednesday. We start to see a drop in our temperatures, but a bigger drop for Friday, Saturday. But look at this. For Friday and Saturday, especially for Redding and Red Bluff, I've included a chance for showers as early as Friday. I'm going to hold off until Saturday before we see that chance for places like Chico. Then Sunday, Monday, it should start to dry out and begin to warm up again for the valley. Now for the coast, inland and Trinity County. Now it's mainly going to be around Thursday that I think we're going to start to see overall those chances for showers. However, that being said, as we go into Tuesday night into Wednesday, we may see a slight chance coming into southern portions of Trinity County and maybe even northeastern portions of Trinity County. A closer look at that a little bit later. But then off and on through Saturday, and then by Sunday, Monday, the chances for showers diminish. But when we look at Siskiyou, Modoc County, Eastern Mountains, see, this is where things get tricky. We have so many microclimates, and it gets so tricky. You see that PM showers tomorrow, then maybe some showers off and on all the way through the weekend for mainly the mountains to the north and to the east. And we'll take a closer look at that here in our future cast in just a bit. But before we get to that deeper dive forecast, let's talk about the free Weather NorCal app. All you got to do is go to Weather NorCal, search for Weather NorCal, that is, in your app store, download the app for free, and everything you need is right there on your phone. All right, so again, we've got this ridge of high pressure. You can kind of see that clockwise spin around the area of high pressure. We do have a bit of a disturbance undercutting that. That may have an impact on our weather later on this week. In the meantime, we do have these disturbances kind of coming on the east side of that ridge. That's what's also going to help to destabilize the atmosphere over the next couple of days. So we look at Futurecast, and you can see the fog that we are seeing in our typical spots, Humboldt Bay, working its way down Highway 101. That continues to overnight tonight, tomorrow morning. Everyone else is looking at those clear skies to start off the day. Then we take in midday on Tuesday, even Humboldt Bay, Highway 101, all sunny skies here across the board. But as we go through the afternoon, we start to see some of that afternoon convection. Now, it looks like most of the activity looks to be in northern Shasta, Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and parts of Lassen County as well. So that's why I'm not really including that much activity here for Tuesday for pretty much Trinity County westward. But you can see by 10 o'clock Tuesday night, we are seeing the bulk of that rain mainly in Modoc County at this point. And we see more disturbances kind of pushing through northeastern Shasta County. So Bernie, as you go into early Wednesday morning, so basically late tomorrow night and early Wednesday morning, eastern Siskiyou County, but most of Modoc County and northern Lassen County as well is where we have the bulk of any activity. And that'll linger into Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. for Modoc County with some of that pockets of moderate to heavy rainfall, maybe some lightning strikes as well. But see, once we get into the midday hours on Wednesday, we start to see more of that afternoon convection, especially to the north and east by midday. But we're beginning to see some of that convection here with the clouds developing in places like Trinity County, Siskiyou County, and even south of that as well. So as you can see, as we go into the afternoon on Wednesday, we're seeing some of those typical spots we saw last week in western parts of Glenn and Tehama counties, but even in parts of northern Trinity County on Wednesday. So again, you saw that 7-day outlook. It didn't really show much for Trinity County, but keep in mind, there are parts, especially north of Highway 299, that could see a chance for a shower or even a thunderstorm with the bulk of the activity looks like off to the east. But the valley at this point, as you can see, is still dry. Now, how about the coast? Yeah, it looks like we do have some of those low clouds kind of sticking around here, especially for Humboldt County. Then by Wednesday night, that's all gone, but then we kind of light things up again going into your Thursday. Let's take a look at that. Now, as we go into Thursday morning, it looks like we're starting to see some fog developing here for parts of the Sacramento Valley. Most of it looks to stay south of Redding, but around Red Bluff southward, we may see some fog developing there, and of course some fog possibly along the coast. But then look at that. That afternoon shower and thunderstorm activity is a possibility for pretty much all of the mountain locations here on Thursday. We may even include some of the inland areas as well. That continues through Thursday afternoon as we go into Thursday around 5 p.m. But then this is a stronger system that'll be coming in on Friday. This is why I'm projecting the potential to see a chance for some showers Friday afternoon, Friday evening, including Redding, including Red Bluff, and maybe even Chico at this point. But you can see the bulk of it will be in the higher elevations with some of that pushing through the valley. Now, this particular forecast model, the GFS, the American forecast model, kind of keeps most of it north of the valley on Saturday. However, if we were to look at the European forecast model, it would have all of Northern California under some form of precipitation. So I'm going to keep that chance in there for Saturday for pretty much everyone, including places like Chico, seeing that potential. Then by Sunday, I'm beginning to see better chances for things beginning to dry out, and that's the case going into your Monday as well. As you can see that ridge of high pressure building in, and that should begin to dry us out a little bit here. But bottom line, I just don't expect to see a ton of rainfall out of these as they kind of pass on through. So again, we talk about the winds, north winds this evening, a bit of that north wind here for the coast. Tomorrow morning, north winds, especially north and west side of the valley and along the coast. Taking midday, winds dying down for the valley midday tomorrow, but still pretty gusty along the coast. And then by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, they pick back up. But it looks like more from the south. However, places like Redding and Red Bluff coming in from the northwest. Bit of a breeze here off in the eastern mountains for Tuesday evening, but there you can see that north wind, 20 to even upwards of 30 miles per hour for the coast. Here's Wednesday morning, and again, those gusty winds here for the valley, especially north and west side, and then some gusty winds, especially out towards Del Norte County, but the winds overall not quite as bad going into your Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. So yeah, the winds are going to be kind of off and on here for the valley and especially for the coast, but not as bad elsewhere. Now you can see kind of the cooler than normal conditions down to the south here. We're kind of in that near normal category here, and then warmer heading off to the east. So mainly what we're looking at here is the near normal. And let me show you what I'm talking about. We take a look at that 10-day trend. We're actually going to probably be closer to that above normal category, and here's the reason why. See, what we're seeing here is the temperatures are dropping. By the end of the week, into this upcoming weekend, we actually may drop just below normal, but then we're back up after that, and you can see we're back up about 10 degrees above normal for this time of the year. So when you look at that map here that was showing near normal, quite honestly, we're going to be kind of more in that above normal category, just that one little brief period where we do drop below normal toward the end of the week and early this weekend. But looking at the wave heights going into tomorrow afternoon, they're still fairly high, most likely still looking at that small craft advisory tonight and into tomorrow. And then Wednesday, those should start to subside a little bit here as we go into Wednesday afternoon, and hopefully we start to see that small craft advisory allowed to expire by Wednesday. Temperatures in the low 50s, as mentioned earlier, for the valley. We're talking mainly 30s for the higher elevations, although in Hoopa and Willow Creek, for example, mid-40s, and looks like in the low to mid-40s for the coast. So your Trinity County neighborhood forecast, temperatures somewhere in the mid to upper 70s. One of the cooler spots will be Mad River at 64. So you saw on Wednesday some of those showers possibly popping up around Trinity Center, Lewiston, for example, maybe even Weaverville. Those chances are very slim, but I think the better chances are coming in Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We take you out towards the North Coast neighborhood forecast. We're going to wait until Thursday before you see those chances for showers, and that'll continue off and on here for Friday and Saturday as well. Up to the north, and you can see out towards Gas Key about 71 for your Tuesday, 69 in Orleans, 72 degrees for Hoopa. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You got your best chances for showers moving into the picture here. Let's take a look at your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. As early as Wednesday, we could see some showers here, but I think most of those on Wednesday will be to the south and south and off to the east as well, and then better chances overall by Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Taking a look at your Modoc County neighborhood forecast, you can see here as we go into the evening hours tomorrow, we see the chance for showers and thunderstorms popping up, and then more showers and thunderstorms possibly Wednesday, and you can see off and on continued chances here, most likely even into Sunday, and that'll be the case for the eastern mountains as well, as we've got mainly dry conditions tomorrow, but by Wednesday, you've got that chance coming in off and on through the rest of the week, this upcoming weekend. And then valley forecast to the south, there you can see temperatures still warm, still dry. 83 degrees for Orland, Hamilton City about 84, 81 for Elk Creek, and Willows about 84 degrees. So looking at your 7-day forecast for Chico, for your Earth Day tomorrow, it's going to be about 83. Now temperature is starting to drop after that. I'm going to keep you dry in Chico through Friday. But maybe a chance coming in on Saturday, drying out once again for Sunday and warming up again for early next week. 81 for the city of Shasta Lake, 77 degrees for Whiskey Town, 82 in Cottonwood, and Red Bluff about 83 degrees. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast for Redding, those temperatures are going to start to slowly drop after tomorrow. Should be in the upper 70s on Thursday. There's that chance for showers Friday, Saturday, and then we're warming back up and drying out for Sunday and Monday of next week. Well, that is your evening update. I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. and live on Coffee with Krueger at 6:30. Have a great night.